Alright, so I was just looking at some of the standings from last season, the 2017-2018 season in the NHL, and I couldn't help but look at some of the advanced stats with the Devils and Panthers, those two teams, because last season the the Devils made the playoffs, the Panthers didn't, and there was a 1 point difference. They had the same amount of wins. Florida had one less loss, and the Devils had one more overtime loss. So the Devils finished with 97 points. Florida finished with 96 points. And I was like, wow, these teams are so identical. So I went and I found all of the advanced stats with these two teams and I compared them. And after looking at these for, I'd say I've been looking at them for, I don't know, 25 to 30 minutes, I've really found a crazy similarity. And, if you're just looking at stats, at least the advanced stats, Florida should have made the playoffs. But obviously, you can't really tell a team if they're going to make the playoffs or not just from these stats. But I wanted to compare them because I love these advanced stats. I love looking at advanced stats. I wanted to just make a video about it, just if you guys didn't know or if you guys didn't really understand it. I am going to explain it here, how close these two teams really are. So, we're going to start with looking at their Corsis. Their Corsi 4, the Devils had 3,555. The Panthers, 3,762. And if you know what Corsi 4 is, it's shots taken. And Corsi against is the shots they've allowed. So the Devils allowed 3,756 shots to the Panthers 3,894. So the Panthers may have taken more shots, but they allowed a lot more shots. And when you allow more shots, more goals are going to go in, and that is probably why the 1 point difference. That maybe it's that one goal that loses you that one extra game, which keeps you out of the playoffs. So the Corsi plus minus for the Devils minus 201. Corsi plus minus for the Panthers is minus 132. Corsi 4 percentage for the Devils 54.6. Oh, sorry, that is wrong. The Corsi 4 percentage for the Devils is 48.63, and the Corsi 4 percentage for the Panthers is 49.14. So although the Panthers have a better Corsi 4 percentage, they've allowed more shots, which is what I mean. They've allowed over 100 more shots, and I can guarantee at least 10% of those shots went in because their save percentage, or at least maybe not. Alright, it's over 100, so probably around 10 to 15 of those shots went in because their save percentage on the year is 92.32. So, yeah, add 10 goals, which means Florida's allowed. Here, I got it right here, actually. The Devils have scored 158 goals. This is actually interesting. The Panthers scored more goals than the Devils. The Panthers scored 166. The Devils scored 158. And they only allowed one more goal than the Devils. So the Panthers have allowed 167 goals, and the Devils have allowed 166. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier about maybe it's that one goal that loses you that one extra game and keeps you out of the playoffs by 1 point, which is just so crazy. It's actually really crazy to even think about. And the Devils did have since they took less shots, scored just about as many goals. They took about 29 more shots than the Devils on the season, and they just about scored as many goals, and they have a better shooting percentage. That's why they have a 7.91 shooting percentage to the Panthers, 7.71 shooting percentage. So they scored more of the time, and they got scored on less of the time? Yeah. No? Yes. Yes, less of the time. So when you really come down to it, if you take all the fine details of these two teams, the Devils have that slight edge. which is, I was just looking at the goals against. The Devils have only allowed, like I said, one less goal. You know, and that, maybe that one less goal. I didn't really follow the Devils and Panthers. Of course, I followed the Panthers for that crazy run. I mean, they finished the season on a 5-game win streak. Both teams, the last 10 games were 7-2-1. But yeah, it's so crazy. If you want me to keep comparing teams like this, just leave a like or tell me which teams you want me to compare, and I'll do that definitely because this was really cool. Just look at all this, and yeah, if you guys liked it, please leave a like, and yeah.